So how much difference does this actually make? Let's find out. Oh, how was that gone straight? That has never gone straight. That was going so far left. That has gone miles. Go on, get to the green. I tell you what, if I had the energy today. So welcome back to Elite Performance Golf Studios and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be testing the sliding weight technology on the Stealth Plus. Now this is obviously off the back of the last video that I did, which was just the Stealth Plus versus Stealth. I said I'll do a separate video on kind of the track and actually put it to the test and see how much difference does it make in terms of ball flight, miss, all those kind of things. So yeah, let me know in the comments, like, do you think these actually work? Do you think they make a big difference? It'd be interesting to know your thoughts. So yeah, let's dive in and see what happens. So this should be a nice, quick, easy test for me. Not only because there's no messing around with heads and shafts and grips and all that kind of stuff. It's obviously same head, same loft with the same shaft, which for this is going to be the C6 Blue Mitsubishi 50 stiff. Yep, I like it playing light and soft, which, I don't know, just weird, but that's what I like. So yeah, it's going to be, the format will be 3 settings, obviously heel, neutral, toe. I'm going to hit 20 shots with each on quad. I'll show you maybe 5 or 6 with each, but it'll be 20 shots hitting each setting. And then we're going to dive into the data on quad, have a deep dive and see whether or not we actually think this is going to make a tangible difference. So what would we expect this to do in theory? Like, what are we using this for? What is it actually supposed to do? Now obviously it's a 10 gram sliding weight in the Stealth Plus head. So when we're moving the mass, heel and toe side, technically we're kind of slightly adjusting and shifting the CG, the center of gravity. So therefore, the more mass we move one side or another, so obviously if we move it into the heel side, we're therefore actually making the club slightly heavier in the heel. And technically what that should do is obviously increase the rate of rotation. So technically we should create a more left-sided driver. I know they use the word draw. It's not really draw because obviously that's going to be dependent on whether or not you get the path inside and then get the face correctly close to the path to create a draw. If you're like 8 outs in and we're just helping you get the face a little bit more square, it's not exactly a draw, but it's a more left side biased club. And same if we move into the toe, we're shifting that CG slightly toe side. Therefore, in theory, we're actually should be slowing the toe down, slowing the rate of closure down, and therefore creating a more right-sided club. And the middle, just more middle, right? Now, there's a few weird things that can happen here. I mean, obviously, if you've got a specific strike pattern, you'd love to be able to align a little bit more mass where you actually strike it consistently, therefore maybe stabilising that point a little bit more. That's great if it aligns with the miss and the kind of shot pattern that we're trying to create. And also sometimes, I mean, the better players can almost track CG a little bit sometimes if you give them enough shots, so you're actually kind of like trying to align the strike with where the kind of centre of mass is or where we are shifting that mass across the face. So we can sometimes see, if I put it in the toe, all of a sudden the strike moves toe side, put it in the heel, all of a sudden the strike moves slightly heel side. Which again, that can really come into play if you're trying to protect against a specific miss. If you're into out of a closed faces pattern, you're hitting it kind of toey. You don't really want that more often than not because it's going to create more left to right curve to drop the spin, all those sorts of things. So maybe a slight heel strike miss is slightly better for that shot pattern and miss. All those kind of things really. So there's a lot of things that it can do, but let's actually see what it does do. So first up, I'm just going to hit it right in the middle, neutral weight setting. And yeah, 20 shots. Let's do it. Certainly take that one down the first. Yep, very nice. Perfect numbers. 13 launch, 2000 spin. Nice little draw, 6 yards offline. Beautiful. Oh, that is such a miss. It's a great miss though. It's good, a little bit off the top, but again, not going to grumble at that. Yeah, a little bit high toe, but decent. So I'm certainly not going to be doing a reach the green challenge today because my back is not good. So not happening, unfortunately. Because to be honest, hitting 60 drives in a row is definitely enough. Kind of trying to bend over a little bit more to protect it a little bit, but yeah, not a good idea. Just in developing this slight little fade. Again, take it any day of the week. Decent numbers. A little bit high, 2 mil high, not bad. Again, I'm obviously trying to keep my swing as consistent as possible. No real swing thoughts, or I'm just trying to cover it and turn. Try and keep it as neutral and as fair as possible throughout this test, so it doesn't skew the results. First one in the greenside bunker. Again, tiny bit high, 3 mil high. I mean, it obviously felt a little higher than that, but really good delivery, good numbers. Nice. That is, yeah, not too shabby either. Love those numbers. 13 launch, 22 spin. Very nice. You can tell I'm blowing already. It's only 19 shots in. Right, so shot 20 with the neutral weight. The last one was really good, to be fair. See if we can replicate that. Oh, that's an interesting one for me. Stay out of the trees. Yeah, it's all right. Got away with it. It's a bit necky. Yeah, a little necky. So, I mean, looking at the dispersion map, kind of top right, you know, it's actually all right to be fair. There's a lot dead straight. I mean, there's obviously a little congregation down the left rough as well. We all know that my kind of miss is a little bit pulley. But actually, for the most part, there's a good bunch up there down the middle, which pretty unusual for me. Right, so moving weight into the heel. Now, as we all know, my miss is left, so I would never play it in the heel just because if it creates the slightest more draw or left side bias, that's not for me, not for me. So, this could be good fun, this one. Oh, brilliant. First one out the gates, one of the furthest right ones I've hit so far. Little bit low heely, which is always going to help that kind of shot. And then, yeah, face smidge too open to the path, but not much. Probably more the strike that kind of created a little bit more of that curvature on that one. But yeah, that is actually on par with the furthest right one I've hit so far. So. Tell you what, this could actually be really, really interesting, because what we do see sometimes, like I alluded to in the beginning of the video, is slightly adjusting kind of CG can definitely change your strike. So some better players, not saying I'm a better player, but kind of tend to track where the kind of most of the mass is positioned and actually try and align strike with that, because normally it's one of the most stable points of the head. But you know, for this being obviously more left side bias, as I like to call it, not really draw bias, because draw bias obviously means coming from the inside, face close to path, starting right, coming back left, but you know, that's irrelevant. So more left side bias, creating more closure rate. But if I hit it out the heel, it's almost certainly going to gear left to right. So if it makes me hit it in the heel, it's definitely not going to be more left side bias. So it's interesting, that actually felt like pretty good, and obviously it's just gone straight left. So it's a bit more of a square strike on that one. And yeah, 2-5 out to 1-8 closed. So yeah, a bit more of a centered strike. Yeah, 30 yards left. Wow, yeah. So I mean, it is quite interesting so far. There's definitely a pattern sort of developing. That anything that tends to be more of a centered strike tends to kind of actually go straight left. Obviously the face has got a lot to do with that, but anything that's heel strike, which it's definitely, I don't think I've hit any out of the toe side yet. It's either center or slightly heel. The ones that are a bit heel obviously tend to get that a little bit left to right curvature. The ones that are actually more centered tend to be kind of a dead straight pull, slight pull draw, because I'm obviously getting slightly out twin on it. So definitely more left sided. That's the one. That is the one. There we go. Still, that really, looking at those numbers, it's out to him with the face closed to the path. So really, if that was a dead centered strike, we're swinging left on it, the face is then left to the path, so therefore it should have started left and gone left. The fact that it's kind of started slightly left, and if anything, actually very marginally faded. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny fade. We have 11 right spins on it. Yeah, very tiny. Because again, slightly out the heel. So it's that shot. I mean, technically, that feels like a great swing, and that's probably the 6th or 7th one that's done that, and that's just felt really good. Centered strike, slightly out to in, slightly closed, and it's been pretty much a 30-yard pull. That's basically my good shot with this, is a 30-yard pull. I mean, actually, aim down the right side of the fairway. If that's going to come left of target 85% of the time, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's actually unreal, to be honest with you. Like, I've hit that spot so many times, it's ridiculous. About 30 yards offline, bang on 30 yards offline. I mean, yeah, that, I don't even know. I've hit 13 drives, and I reckon there's a cluster of about at least 8 or 9 down there, literally on exactly the same spot. Honestly, this is insane. It just does the same thing every time. 30 point, that must be 0.2 yards different to the last one. Just, I don't know if I really need to hit that many more of this, do I? That's so consistent. Yeah, to be honest, doing 60 drives probably wasn't the best idea. I mean, it was 38 yesterday. It's probably only 26 or 27 today, but it's hot. Right. Drive 40, number 40, with the weight in the heel. Yeah, it's been a few tired swings towards the end here, so the next 20 is going to be quite interesting. Right. Concentrate. That was right out of the middle. Yeah, I'm tired. And good numbers, like that. Strike pattern started definitely come more central, which I like. 13.5, 24. It's nice, good, right. Let's have a 5-minute breather before we move on to the old toe. Right, weight in the toe time. See if my body holds up for another 20 drives. Yes, pretty sore today, not going to lie. definitely a little bit more left to right movement on that one, but not much, but it was a good shot to be fair, like decent strike. Hitting speed maybe dropping a couple mile an hour, getting a bit tired, but yeah, I mean, right in the middle, slightly out to in, slightly closed. Again, technically I should have maybe actually drawn a little bit, but what were we, 1 mil heel? Maybe enough to get a little bit of that curvature back, but it's going to be really interesting, this little test, to be fair. Oh, that is really interesting. Because that to me felt left. And it was slightly toe side, out to in, closed. Yeah, I'm not sure how these are fading that much, but that to me felt exactly the same as the ones that were finishing 30 yards left in the last set. That little grouping, there was about 9 out of 20 that was literally on that spot, like within a few yards of each other. That felt exactly like that. It's a nice fade. Exactly the same. Like, that was a tiny bit heely, that. Tiny bit heely, 300 carry. Such good numbers. Yeah, tiny bit heely. Again, instinctively, I just would have said that was going to go left, but what a result. Oh man, that's good. Just comes back. So good. What's that strike? Pretty good. I mean, 1 mil heel. How is that fading? But it really does just feel like this actually gives me that little bit of protection where I feel it's going to turn. It just kind of holds its line, which then like starts to like, even if this is just a placebo, like golf is such a placebo game. If you believe you're going to hit it left, then you probably hit it left, right? Just almost gives you that little bit of mental kind of backup now where I feel as though I can actually go at it a little bit more and it just won't go as far left. I'm sure I will hit some left because I hit everything left, but yeah, it gives you that little bit more confidence. So again, that felt like it was 100% going left, and it has, but I mean, it's actually caught left side of the fairway. 100% now off the face that's going left based on the other shots that I've hit today. And it's 15 yards left of target. Taking that all day long. Nice shot. A little bit off the bottom, but we will certainly take that. Yeah, nice. So again, at this point I've hit, that was my 14th drive, and I've probably hit 3 left rough, 1 left side of fairway. Everything else has been straight, slightly fade, 1 massive right, which is a terrible swing. But yeah, probably 3 left rough out of 14. I'll take that. Oh, how was that gone straight? That has never gone straight. That was going so far left. That has gone miles. Go on, get to the green. I tell you what, if I had the energy today. How was that like? Yeah, I don't even know how that's finished 3 yards offline. Not a Scooby-Doo. Would have said that was going left all day long. Yeah, if I had the energy today. That's easy, 350, that's easily reachable now, easy. Oh wow, that is straight. That is straight. Greenside bunker. Take that all day long, that's good. 15 long, 21 spins, hitting again, a little bit too much up on it, 9 up, but considering I've just hit 59 drives in a row, I'll take that. Definitely feel like I'm flagging a little bit today, not gonna lie. Right, shot 60, see if we've got One more in the tank. Come on. That was high toe. Wow, that's done well. Unreal. Go on, get up there. Oh, go on, big bounce. Oh. Genuinely was not even trying to do that then, to be honest. Like, I just caught that perfectly high toe, spin dropped, face the path was brilliant. And we got one on the green. What a shot to finish on. Right, that was very interesting. This bit's going to be even more interesting. Right, so we're going to jump straight into it, and this is the first part of our little bit of analysis. Obviously going to be looking at the compare page, and this is the ball flight page. I mean, ball speed, launch and spin is obviously not really within this test, I guess. It's interesting to see because it was the same head, same shaft, same time, just 3 different kind of data sets. And actually we can see there's an 8-yard carry difference with same shaft, same head, same loft, same time, which is, you know, also interesting. Ball speed within 1 mile an hour, more than enough deviation with me to do that. Launch within kind of 1.8 degrees, which again, I did have a little look at the club page earlier and there's a reason for that. We'll look at that in a minute. Spin 22, 22, 22. I mean, it's pretty close really, isn't it? Just launched a bit higher in the toe set end, which is obviously nothing to do with the toe set end. Right, okay, so side angle, which is essentially like initial start direction of the ball. They're all obviously left because I started everything slightly left, but as we can kind of just about see on the graphic there, I don't know if you can see that, but the heel started further left. So the heel actually started the ball the furthest left, which is exactly what we'd kind of expect, putting it in the heel, moving the CG slightly heel side, obviously increasing that rate of rotation, face going to be more close to the path, ergo start slightly more left, which is good. But actually the toe and neutral were pretty, well, I say pretty similar, actually the toe was slightly more close, which is interesting, but again, only the first part of this initial analysis, and that really there is a good indicator of kind of initial start direction. Then obviously we can see up here the dispersion as well. Average, I mean, from left to right is pretty equal. I mean, the blue, which is the heel, obviously I did hit a couple further left, and the toe, which is right, I did hit a couple further right. But you can see on average, it does work out that the heel is slightly left, neutral is in the middle, and then the toe is slightly right. But how much by? Let's have a look. So while we're here, might as well have a quick look at the club page as well, because this is obviously a very important one. The bits that obviously don't really matter, we can see are all pretty equal, to be fair. Efficiency the same, speed less than a mile an hour in it, dynamic loft delivered more as we went on in the kind of experiment, and that's because I hit up more on it. As you can see, I just started to hit up more, which tends to be a trend as I get more tired. As I've said before, I get a little bit more that way, hit up more, therefore deliver more dynamic loft, which is what obviously increased the launch. Which again, may have a little bit of a kind of impact on this test, but I tried to keep it as consistent as I possibly could. So, face angle path. Path changed a little bit. Again, I tried to keep it as consistent as I possibly could, but I'm not a robot, unfortunately. Pretty neutral, 1 from the outside, 0.7 from the outside. So all slightly out to in on average. And in the face, again, all left on average. The most left, you can see, is when we had it in the heel, average 1.9 left, 1.5 left with the toe, and 1.3 left of neutral. So looking at that, I'd go, well, neutral was probably the best for me. But actually, we'll break it down in a minute on a different page. The toe was definitely, as you probably saw throughout the experiment, I did it if you left with it. Obviously, it's never going to protect everything. It's marginally helping the rotation of the face, but it did definitely, the ones that I felt were going left, it held its line, or maybe even slightly faded, or I was very surprised by a few. I mean, that when it was in the heel, it was unbelievably consistent. When I made the same swing, it did the same thing. It just 30 yards left to target every single time. And then the actual, the toe. Neutral was pretty good actually. There was a nice little gather in, some a little bit left, obviously it always will be, but nice little gathering in the middle, and then the toe definitely started to kind of seep to the right a little bit. Let's look at average offline. So average offline, unfortunately we have to flick into this page. So you can see down here, neutral, there's a load more shots up here, as you saw, 20 with each. Average along the bottom here, offline, average 4.4 yards left of target on average with the neutral setting. So flipping to the heel, again, obviously loads more shots up here, but again, the bottom is the average. We scroll along and we see the average offline, 9.8 yards left with the heel. So averaging kind of 5 yards more left of target with the heel weight. And then with the toe, again, obviously toe, down the bottom, average was 1.6 right of target. So the average offline between the heel and toe was about 10 yards of difference, which, to be fair, is not nothing. So I mean, essentially to sum up, how much difference does it make? It makes some difference, to be fair. It's never going to be huge. I mean, you're moving a 10-gram weight in, you know, relative terms, the rest of the body's 200 odd grams. So you're moving a very small part. You're shifting that CG very, very slightly. But it definitely does have an effect on bull flight. And I actually found myself, when I felt more protection against the left side, I started going at it more, which actually we maybe saw in the data a little bit more. The club speed did come up a little bit. Again, maybe because I was going at it a bit more, that maybe created me getting more up on it. But either way, I got more yardage out of that. So maybe you giving that extra bit of confidence that it maybe is protecting you against the left side, enabled me to go at it a little bit more and then gain some yardage as well. So I mean, there's multiple different dimensions to this. Obviously, this is a very, very small data set. So it's never going to be as scientific as we'd like it to be. But you know, this is all we're doing a fitting. We're trying to kind of decide on what we think is the best for you in a relatively small data set, because we're not robots. We get tired very quickly. We need to try and dial those kind of settings and kind of loft lie, head shaft, et cetera, very, very quickly. So yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting test, and actually it was probably slightly more than I thought it would be for me, because I've never done, again, this, like hit 20 back-to-back with each different setting to really then dive into numbers to see what it did. But throughout when I was hitting the shots, it did surprise me that it was definitely more right-sided. And again, there's 10 yards on there. I'd probably agree with that, to be fair. I would say, yeah, a lot of them are going 30 left with the kind of the heel weight, and then the toe. Yeah, I don't know, the good ones are pretty straight, to be fair. So I mean, yeah, for me, definitely is a worthwhile little bit of tech there, to be honest. So glad they brought it back, and it's going to be interesting to see what they bring in next year. So yeah, I kind of hope that sums it up well enough. It's always tough trying to really dive into these numbers and make it come across, you know, in enough depth and enough detail, and hopefully understand it enough, and it's as good a test as it can be. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought. Comment below. Let me know what you want to see next. I'm tired. I'll see you in the next one.